Obesity is almost an American disease. It's an American disease because we have too much. We eat too much. We ride in an automobile too much, on a bus too much. We want a parking placard so we don't have to walk too far to pick up our groceries. We want a disabled placard. I have, over the 45 to 50 years of practice, denied most of my patients' requests for parking placard for the disabled. And I tell them, look, I'm not going to lead to your early death by telling you that you can park in a disabled parking spot so you don't have to walk very far. Unless you're crippled or wheelchair bound, I want you to walk. You will not get a disabled placard. So obesity is caused by lack of exercise primarily, and for many people, lack of vigorous exercise. There is a genetic component to obesity. We all have to be aware of that. We can't correct that. Now we will be able to correct that possibly with stem cell research. Stem cell research is going to be a real breakthrough for many of our medical illnesses. Obesity, being tied to diabetes, is a leading cause of death in the United States. In spite of our advances in medical care, our life expectancy in the United States is only 78 years. And that's for the average white person, is 78 years. For the Hispanic population, because they're much more active and tend to eat less in the way of meat, milk, and eggs, their life expectancy is as high as 87. The Japanese or Asian population has a life expectancy of 83. Again, these are cultures that eat properly, are more likely to eat properly, and much more likely to exercise, because their medical systems emphasize the diet and exercise. We as Americans, in the white population, generally speaking, are less likely on the whole to be active in exercise. So we have an epidemic of obesity, and I would get into what they call the metabolic index, which tells us whether or not your body fat is over the limit for your height and weight. The BMI that we call the BMI actually helps us register on your chart each month whether or not you're in the healthy range. But most important is just looking at watching the scale and looking at the height-weight ratio. We can tell that we can tell a patient whether they need to lose weight and at what rate. You don't want immediate, absolute, fast weight loss. We need a slow progression of weight loss with a change of habits to the right types of food. You have to eliminate fatty, fried, or creamy foods. Eliminate fatty, fried, or creamy foods. If you do that, and also nearly eliminate sugar, and stay with vegetarian foods, you can cure obesity very simply. Many articles have been written about the fact that we shouldn't be putting our grains, our soybeans, our oats, our rice, our vegetarian foods, all through animals. The efficiency is terrible. By the time we eat the meat and the byproducts products of animals, even milk, we are pushing ourselves into not only obesity but the diabetic range. What we need is to understand that the arteries are your support system. 2,000 years ago, a doctor said, old man and woman are as old as their arteries is. So how do we keep our arteries healthy? We keep them healthy by, number one, not being obese. And number two, getting the proper exercise. Number three, eating a healthy vegetarian type diet. That doesn't mean you have to eliminate meat. Some people get very upset when they hear a doctor say, well, stop your meat, milk, and eggs. No, cut back on your meat, milk, and eggs. Get rid of the creamy and fried foods. Get rid of cream. Get rid of the overwhelming amount of sweets and ice creams that are sometimes get into your cupboard and your refrigerator. Remember, if you bring it into your house and put it in the refrigerator and the cupboard, and it's composed of ice cream and meat products and cheese and eggs, you're already on the wrong foot towards conquering obesity, because once you bring it in the house, you're going to eat what you have in the house. If you don't shop correctly, you can't cure obesity. And if you don't cure obesity, you're going to take 15, 20 years off of your life expectancy. When you should be enjoying retirement and your grandchildren, you're going to be dead. So we've got to tackle this obesity problem with great vigor.